Okay. So, back in the day, when there was no such thing as antibiotics, the number one killer of human beings was bacterial infections. That's right. It was constantly people were dying from bacterial infections. Tooth decay, respiratory infections, STDs. You got the clap back in the day, it could kill you. And there was a good chance if it didn't kill you, it was going to maim you for life. Injure your heart or your junk. So anyway, here's a couple good ones. Azithromycin. Azithromycin is what is better known as a Z-Pak. A Z-Pak is 500 milligrams of azithromycin the first day, and then 4 days of 250 milligrams, which means 6 250 milligram tablets is your classic Z-Pak, which is what I have labeled here. So, you can buy these fish antibiotics. I think as of June 11th, 2023, they're no longer allowed to be sold. So you're watching this, you probably can't get them. Generally, though, I've seen I will bet you that they'll be on eBay for a long time afterwards. It's just how it works out. And then we have doxycycline. Now, doxycycline there's 100 milligrams, 100 count in here. It's one of those antibiotics that treats a huge broad spectrum of different ailments, different types of infections. Super good antibiotic to have, very strong. They give it to people for STDs, for tooth and jaw infections, things that are tough to get rid of. Generally, a standard run of doxycycline is going to be 100 milligrams twice a day for 10 days. And that will knock out most infections. Problem is, if you're going to store these for long term, okay, say you have a bottle of this. Oh, I need to get out 20 of these for a 10-day run. Well, now the bottle's open. It's exposed to the open air. Well, you can put an oxygen absorber in there. You can, but it's already been opened, and it's in a plastic container, which means over time anyway, if you don't know this, plastic is not 100% oxygen proof. It is permeable. Over time, oxygen will leach through the plastic, get to your pills, and destroy them, or at least degrade them. So what you want to do is you want to get yourself individual runs of this stuff. Now, there's a couple ways to do it. You can get a special vacuum sealer. You can get small Mylar bags. You can put 10 20 of these in a little Mylar bag, throw in an oxygen absorber, vacuum seal it, kind of like how this bag is vacuum sealed, and seal it, heat seal it. And that's a really good way to do it. That will keep oxygen out, and your doxycycline will last for potentially decades. I don't have that. I have a vacuum sealer, but I don't have one that vacuum seals real well with little bags or with Mylar bags. It vacuum seals the Mylar, but it doesn't seal them. So then I have to come in behind it with the sealer and seal it, and it just lets a little bit of air in. It probably isn't a big deal, but this is my system. You don't need a vacuum sealer for this system. You go on eBay, you search for, what did I search for? Aluminum pill bottles, and they come in all different sizes. I can't remember what size this is, but you get the idea. It's about as big as a finger. And you can do individual runs of antibiotics, and you can put them in here with an oxygen absorber. But wait, that means there's still air trapped in there. Aha. That's what this is for. This is a helium tank that you can get at any party store. They have them at Walmart. And what you can do is you can put your pills, however many you want to put in one of here. You can see I have these listed. Azithromycin, Z-Pak, 6 by 250 milligrams, and the month that they're being sealed. And, one would say, oh, well, it has that rubber gasket there, or a rubber washer, so that will keep the air out. And it will. for a time, but rubber is not the best long-term solution for this kind of thing. But you know what it is? This stuff. Teflon plumber's tape. If you run a good, hardy bit of it around these threads, that will keep air out for sure, forever. This stuff, Teflon, doesn't rot. It doesn't degrade. Not that I know of. It lasts a long time. That's why they use it in plumbing, which, you know, takes a beating, is exposed to a lot of moisture. And it seals plumbing very well. So this is how I seal these metal containers. So what you do is you put your tablets or your capsules in here, preferably tablets if you can get them. And then you take one of these, which is made for 50, or no, I'm sorry, it's either 50 or 100 milliliters. Either way, they're perfectly sized for these containers. They're overkill for these containers, which is what you want. You fold these in half, you jam them in the bottle on top of the medication. Now what that does is you jam it in a way that it's going to keep the meds from falling out when you turn it upside down. Then you take your metal container with the cap off, with the pills in it, with one of these holding the pills in place. You have to keep it upside down. This is the key. Hold it upside down. Turn this thing upside down, and you put the nozzle inside there, and you slowly release helium into the bottle. Now, helium is a very, very light gas, and it will, as you know, because it makes balloons float. So helium, if this is held upside down, will fill this up it'll go in, it'll go right to the top. As you keep the helium going, it will fill from the top down and push all the other air out. Now, when you're done, you keep it held upside down, and you screw the cap on. And that's it. You have an oxygen-free environment. You have a container that is all but smash-proof and knock-around proof, whereas a Mylar bag can easily have a hole punched in it. Not this. And there you go. You have individual runs of antibiotics, so you don't have to dig into a whole bottle and expose all of it at once and then have to repackage it. And every time you have to do that, you're re-exposing it, and you're degrading it just naturally by doing that. So what I do is I list, by the way, if you don't have, these are the best permanent markers, these Milwaukee ones. Inxol, Milwaukee, incredibly good. They're way more permanent than a Sharpie. I mean, you have to really work to get this stuff off of things, whereas a Sharpie, I can just take some alcohol and rub it right off. Not so much with this. So these will write like on a wet surface, on a greasy surface. They're just really good, and they're cheap. You just get it's like $5 for like a pack of 3 or whatever at Home Depot. Just go get them. And you write it on here, and what I do is, you can see if you look close, there's package tape. So I write it on, and then I cover the writing with package tape so that it doesn't rub off over time as I'm moving these, or as they're being thrown in out of bags or whatever. You know, it just keeps it so it'll always be there so you know what's in it. So anyway, I would show you the process, but I'm sure you can figure out from what I'm saying how easy it really is. It's not that difficult. One of these, I believe, is $35, something like that, for this big one at Party City or Walmart. They make one about half this size too. They come with balloons, obviously, but you don't need the balloons. They make one half the size for like $20 or $25 if you don't want to get this big one. And yeah, this is my personal system for storing antibiotics for a decade or longer. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe. My channel is full of extremely useful, original information you're not going to find anywhere else like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.